This video is for you if you're someone like me who struggles with perfectionism. If you're waiting until that moment when you're perfect to finally feel happy, worthy, or successful, then you're going to be waiting forever. Real freedom doesn't come from the moment when you finally fix yourself. Instead, it comes the moment that you decide to embrace those imperfections. Today, I want to share with you how and why letting go of perfection is one of the most powerful shifts you can make, and how it can completely transform your life. So this is something that I personally know all too well. And it's a really common thing, these feelings of wanting to make everything in our lives perfect. And most of us are taught, even from an early age, that we have to constantly be better, right? We have to be stronger, faster, better. We have to improve. Smarter, prettier, more accomplished, more polished, whatever. And because of that, we start to believe that we have to reach some kind of invisible standard before we can really feel good about ourselves. But the reality I've learned is this, that perfection is an illusion. And it's a moving target that's designed to keep you chasing. So no matter how much you grow, how much you achieve, how much money you make, if you're chasing perfection, then you'll never feel like it's enough. One thing that I've realized is that chasing perfection all the time is like this form of self-rejection. It's like you're never good enough. And it's constantly telling yourself, I'm not enough yet. I haven't achieved enough yet. I haven't done enough yet. And that negative mindset, this very subtle but constant rejection, is what keeps so many people stuck and in a negative place. I also want to end here. One thing I've learned, I would say probably in the past year, is when you really think about it, what does it mean to be perfect? What does perfection even look like in your life? When I think of my life and wanting to be perfect with my business or money, whatever, I don't even really know, if I really drill down on it, I don't even really know what perfection would look like. And apply that to your own life. If there's some area where you feel this constant pressure to be perfect, maybe with your job or a relationship, how you show up, ask yourself, what is being, quote unquote, perfect? What does that actually mean and actually look like? And if you're like me, you might find that, wow, I don't even really know what that is. So it's like this invisible thing that we're chasing after, but we can't really define it. So real growth happens when you embrace your imperfections and when you accept yourself exactly as you are, without conditions. You stop needing to wear a mask all the time. You stop needing to, prove your worth to other people. And in that moment, you can finally feel free, and also you can finally express yourself in an authentic way. Because that true freedom, it's not about reaching some impossible standard, a standard we can't even really define. It's about realizing you are already whole, even with all your flaws, even with all the rough edges and imperfections that you have. Because once you accept those imperfections, something really amazing happens, and that is you become more relatable. You become authentic. You become magnetic to the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences. And true confidence doesn't come from being perfect all the time. It comes from really that authenticity and realizing that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up as your authentic self. Now, this doesn't mean that you stop, working toward your goals or applying yourself. Not at all. You still want to have goals and aspirations and things you want to achieve in your life. That's great. But this is different. This is about accepting yourself, no matter where you are on that journey, and not tying your self-worth to those metrics or to obtaining something in your life. Yes, you have your goals. Yes, you have aspirations. Maybe there's a certain amount of money you want to make or a promotion you want to get. That's fine. That's awesome. But this is about your internal self-worth. You're remaining constant. You're still valuable. You're still loved, no matter what happens externally. So the next step is, how do you actually embrace your imperfection? How do you do this work? And you start by just simply practicing self-compassion. So stop being so hard on yourself all the time. Talk to yourself like someone you love, someone you care about. Would you tell your best friend that they have to be absolutely perfect and flawless before they're worthy of love or success? Of course not. So give yourself that same treatment. Be understanding and kind and patient with yourself. And then second, let go of comparison. Understand that every single person that you compare yourself to, even the ones who seem perfect, they all have their own issues and things they're struggling with. And everyone is dealing with something hidden, something that others can't see. This is especially true now with social media. I mean, you look at someone's Instagram or their online life and it's like, oh my God, that looks perfect. Well, I guarantee you every one of those people beneath the surface, they have their own issues, just as you and I have our own. So let go of that comparison. Let go of comparing yourself to other people, especially online, and just realize that we're all on our own journey and on our own path. And then third, learn to celebrate your progress, not perfection. So focus on the small things. Focus on the small steps forward, the small wins, how far you've come, not how far you still have to go. Every single step forward counts, even if things are messy, even if things aren't perfect, even if things didn't go according to plan. You're still moving forward, and that should be celebrated. What I've found is that once you stop chasing perfection, then you'll notice something amazing. You'll feel lighter, you'll feel more creative, more authentic. You'll take more risks as well because you're not afraid of things not turning out perfect. One very common thing is that when you're a perfectionist, there's like this, they call it like analysis paralysis, that you just never take action. You're always in this state of trying to plan everything out so it's perfect, and you never actually take action. So when you learn that you don't have to be perfect all the time, it frees you up to move forward and take more risk in a healthy way. And you allow life to just meet you where you are, and you don't have to pretend to be someone or to be somewhere that you're not. And that's where the real growth can happen because you're no longer stuck in that cage. And you can be yourself, you can be authentic. And that freedom doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from accepting yourself and showing up as you truly are, as that true authentic version of yourself, flaws and all. So again, remember, you don't have to be perfect, and your imperfections aren't flaws. They're your story. They're your strength, and they're the doorway to true freedom. So embrace them, and yes, keep working toward your goals. Do everything you can to achieve what you want, but realize that those are separate than your intrinsic self-worth, which is always going to be there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.